the world that Nigeria is now open for business. Our country is endowed with multiple resources to be self-sufficient as well as be a net exporter of goods and services. What this means is Nigeria could achieve full and optimal use of resources, thus tackling its deficiencies in skills and finance. This is what will lead to security, poverty elimination, and increase in the general well-being of our people.
President Buhari noted with delight the appreciation and confidence of the business community and the steps taken so far by government to address the challenges facing the economy, solicited for continued cooperation in the journey of economic and social transformation of Nigeria. Governor Aminu Bello Masari of Katsina State, who spoke extensively on the prevailing economic situation of his state, expressed optimism on the future of Katsina State with the new policy focus of the state government. President Muhammadu Buhari has felicitated with the elder statesman and former head of interim national government, Ernest Shonekan, on his 80th birthday. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, Garuba Shehu, the President commends the immense contribution of the octogenarian in forging and also maintaining peace and unity of Nigeria. President Buhari prays that God grant Chief Shonekan more years of good health and happiness to see the Nigeria of our dreams. The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has held a closed-door meeting with Bayelsa State
and that will be convenient to the President for all the Niger Delta governors to have a conversation with the President on how we can best protect strategic national assets and discuss our common and shared responsibility for security and law and order.
In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
We are not yet done with security matters, as President Muhammadu Buhari is to host the second Regional Security Summit on Saturday in Abuja. The summit, which is in furtherance of the ongoing efforts by the present administration to enhance the security of lives, property and investments in the country, is expected to have the President of France, Cameroon, Niger Republic, Chad and Benin Republic in attendance. The United States, Britain, Equatorial Guinea, European Union, ECOWAS, and the Economic Community of Central African States, as well as the Gulf of Guinea Commission, will also be represented at the summit. New agreements on further defense and cultural cooperation is expected to be signed by both Nigeria and France. France hosted the first Regional Security Summit in May 2014. And to legislative matters now, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, says the legislature is committed to providing necessary legislative action that will entrench the rights of women, youths, and vulnerable children in Nigeria. The Speaker stated this at the opening of a two-day dialogue with representatives of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports on the forum organized by the National Institute for Legislative Studies.
It is an interactive session to put into the minds of Nigerian youth proper understanding about legislative engagements. It also aimed at providing adequate educational right and more economic diversification process in the country.
It focuses on deepening students' understanding of the democratic process with special emphasis on the legislature while attempting to bridge the prevalent disconnect students have with governance.
What we need in this country is for you to be focused and to improve on what we are doing now.
The need to upgrade vocational training and the provision of additional laws that will guide policies targeting youth development in Nigeria were among issues raised at the forum. Some speakers
It will bring into existence a body that will prepare knowledgeable, skilled and competent physiotherapy practitioners that will function effectively in a dynamic health environment.
The joint health sector unions will submit that the passage of this legislation is responsible, logical, right and just thing to do.
Looking at the registration so far, the board has been able to register physiotherapists at the level of a degree holder, master's degree holder, and even to PhD.
We want to look at the health system as a teamwork. And when you look at a team, you have different experts.
Those against the bill say it will add more burden to the poor economy.
Global best practice should be guide for this. This bill seems to be peculiar to our nation because no such college of postgraduate physiotherapy established by an act of parliament exists anywhere in the world.
For residency training, such a physician can take any specialty of anesthesia.
Chairman House Committee on Health Institutions, Representative Betty Apiafi, is of the opinion that they should look at ways of saving resources for the nation, with emphasis on budget performance, which has always been between 40% and 50%.
The last administration set up so many universities, and they're still cracking research.
Nobody is disputing the beauty, the need, the exigency about this bill. We need to have programs in place, so nobody should be here talking to us about costing.
If the bill scales through, observers say it will be at par with its international counterparts. From the National Assembly.
Functional budget now, and in that budget is specifically stated that in 2016 Nigeria will have to borrow from the external sources about 900 billion naira and from domestic sources about 980 billion naira, making a total of 1.884 trillion naira. So DMO is committed to making sure we raise this money from appropriate sources in appropriate mix at appropriate times and conditions during the fiscal year to make sure the capital project is funded.
Dr. Nwanko also pointed out that Nigeria needs to invest about $25 billion per annum in the next 5 to 7 years in order to meet its infrastructure requirements.
In doing so, over the next 5 to 7 years, the economy will have been well diversified, our foreign reserves will grow, our currency, the naira, will become stronger, and Nigeria will become a more formidable economy. More importantly, we emphasize that Nigeria has all it takes to achieve this recovery.
The Debt Management Office also observed that Nigeria needs to up its tax revenue to GDP ratio, which is now less than 7%. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
The introduction of patriotic studies and the reintroduction of the study of history in school curriculum across Nigeria will play a major role in the sustenance of peace and unity among Nigerians. This is the consensus of speakers at the forum in Lagos. Again, Abdullah Mohammed reports.
It was a gathering of like minds striving to promote the ideals that bind Nigerians together. The paper presentation titled Harnessing the Diverse Cultural, Ethnic and Religious Values for Peaceful Coexistence, Mr. Lanre Falode observed that the recipe for peace and unity rests on the ability of government to ensure transparency and good governance. This, he emphasized, will inculcate an unflinching level of patriotism among Nigerians.
We all agree that the man in the saddle of power now is a man of integrity and is accountable and is transparent. We all just need to imbibe the spirit of integrity. All of us must resolve to do things rightly.
Others insist that the sustenance of a peaceful coexistence among Nigerians must begin with a deliberate effort to change the mindset of the up-and-coming Nigerians through patriotic studies and history. The Deputy Controller of Prisons in charge of Kirikiri Prisons, Lagos, challenged Nigerians to inculcate the habit of visiting and helping inmates.
A lot of them, they're in there for crimes that ordinarily they wouldn't have committed. If love was given to them, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to make the mistakes that they made that brought them in there.
Some Nigerians who distinguished themselves in their various fields of endeavor were recognized. In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Well, that's our outlook from Lagos for now. We now go back to Abuja for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ademola. It is not the best of times for electricity consumers, including the Federal Capital Territory, as they experience blackouts that sometimes last up to a week. Mayor Gidi in this report finds out what is responsible for this endless blackout and other issues such as estimated billing and also prepaid metering.
Sometimes in a week, we know they get light.
We run with our generator breaks down. That's why we're not having light here.
You won't see light and you are paying bills. It's very annoying.
If this is the situation in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the nation's seat of power, then the situation in other parts of the country probably is not different. However, in February 2nd this year, the country experienced its highest generation of 5,074 megawatts. But as of today, 10th of May, it has dropped to 2,149 megawatts as a result of gas pipelines vandalism.
And that has really affected generation nationwide. As at yesterday, what was allocated to us was 173 megawatts. Now, usually our baseline is for
Regulatory Commission and Electricity Management Services Agency on prompt performance by distribution companies and the completion of repairs in the vandalized Focados pipeline in May 29 this year. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, commended the stakeholders and promised to provide a lasting solution to the nation's power challenges. The government has been challenged to take serious interest in the leaked Panama Papers and prosecute Nigerians who have touched money stolen from the country in tax havens abroad. Guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria stated this while discussing on the issue. Oyeyemi Ajayi has the details.
The news about the leaked Panama Papers has continued to reveal how the rich stash money in safe havens to conceal their identity, evade tax and avoid sanctions. Names of world leaders, international organizations, entertainers and sports personalities have surfaced in the Panama Papers. Some of the guests who commended the efforts of media organizations which exposed the details believe that it would serve as a lesson to those thinking of laundering money or evading tax.
The importance of that is to sensitize the global community to what is going with respect to the operations of safe havens and with the way and manner some politicians and other rich people try to mask and conceal their wealth.
There are two categories of individuals that have been found, especially in our own local reporting of the Panama Papers. There are those who perhaps are business people who have made legitimate decisions about investing in tax haven. Perhaps for tax avoidance, perhaps not. Perhaps for legitimate transactions. But there are also others who are government officials, who hold public offices, and who perhaps have violated the code of conduct law. So we must get it right. As legitimate as investing abroad might be, of course, it is clear from our reporting that certain people have broken the rules.
The guests also stressed the need for public office holders to declare their assets, including that of their wives and children below 18 years, as required by law, as this will keep them in check and enhance good governance.
About 1/3 of our commonwealth is in the offshore havens. So, but what happens is that most of the people we expect to take action on this matter, they are guilty.
Section 2, Part 1 to the 5th schedule says that no public officer should engage himself in any commercial or business venture at all, except if he's a part-time public officer or he wants to merely venture into farming.
The Panama Papers are made up of 11.5 million leaked documents which detail financial and attorney client information for more than 214,000 offshore entities, some dating back to more than 40 years. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Kaduna today played host to the second in the series of town hall meeting organized by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture for ministers to explain the journey so far by the Buhari administration and also to grow the economy. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, spoke on the need for the
here today.
The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, and time now to pause for some messages. News Nationwide continues shortly.
If you hear a bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter, that might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words: run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
1 year of Buhari administration and the way forward is the focus of discussion on NTA Tuesday Live this week, especially now with the signing into law of the 2016 Budget of Change. Tuesday Live, authoritative, educative, informative, and enlightening. Don't be told. Join us.
Dame Chief Pat Ngomwachuku JP, the noble president of Ladies of St. Mulumba, invites all knights and ladies of St. Mulumba and the public.
First, in our commitment to steer this country back to greatness.
He is one of the best brands that we have as a country, and we have to take advantage of that.
Look inwards and see how we'll be able to enhance our resources.
The problem of Nigeria is man-made. It's just a question of patience and cooperate with the government. Nigeria will go back to those better days.
The man who's leading us, he wouldn't talk much, but he does a lot.
We shall deliver security, jobs, and infrastructure. This is the right of all Nigerians. Our actions will speak for us.
Miss, I've had a dream of that kind of life for us. You know?
Serious?
I dream say we get big house. Plenty space there everywhere. The children get their own.
Over the unveiling of the center at Kuje Gwagwalada Road reports.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Says the center has no extend its services to developing a humanitarian empowerment center, a center that promotes and provides skills acquisition and empowerment. Since its inception on October 11, 2014, the center has fed about 48,000 inmates.
He said his organization will soon shoulder the feeding needs of IDPs during Ramadan fast and will liaise with the state government on job creation for the teeming youth. Shehu of Borno, Alhaji Abubakar Ibn Umar Garba El Kanemi appreciated the generosity of Alhaji Aliko Dangote to victims of insurgency in Borno State. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Enugu State House of Assembly holds public hearing on free maternal and child health care program. For these and details, let's join Ngozi in our Enugu Network Center. It's over to you.
Many thanks for joining us here in Enugu.
The Deputy President of our Senate, Ike Kweremadu, has charged judiciary
on the pedestal of a respected judicial system in the world. It was the resolution of discussions that factors undermining the rule of law must be addressed by relevant authorities. In Enugu, Chimobi Walter Naji, NTA News.
The Enugu State House of Assembly has compelled the State Ministry of Health to refund expenses incurred by health institutions operating the free maternal and child health care program. This was the outcome of a public hearing organized by the House Committee on Health to assess the implementation of a program in the state.
A presentation by the
to look at some of the efforts to reduce malaria burden.
Malaria is a disease transmitted by the vector female Anopheles mosquito, which breeds in stagnant water, overgrown bushes and dirty environment. Statistics show that 40% of death in Nigeria and globally is due to malaria. Unfortunately, there is no vaccine for malaria, but there are measures to control the disease targeted at vector control and appropriate case management. Some of those strategies include indoor residual spraying, distribution of insecticide-treated nets,
inconsistent power supply in Enugu State has become a major concern to residents and operators of business outfits within the metropolis. Residents now rely on power generating sets to operate their business outfits. Chikubu has details.
This is usually the situation in most business areas within the metropolis. Although Chika Ugu and
that does it from this end. Femi, take it away from me.
And that's how far we can go from our Enugu Network Center. We'll be taking you to Bini shortly. But before then, following the current rumor that the Federal Character Commission and other agencies are recruiting or employing, the Federal Character Commission advises members of the public to completely disregard messages or information either from social media network or text messages in that regard, based on claims by applicants that they were requested to forward their CV and other personal documents, the Federal Character Commission, for the purpose of employment into any government establishment where many unsuspecting individuals are falling victims and parted with substantial sums of money. The statement from Federal Character Commission says, as a regulatory body, although the instrumentality of its mandate is responsible for giving guidance and procedure for recruitment into Millennium Development areas and agencies, it will not resort to the use of social media to disseminate information to the public. Nobody in the Commission, it says, is authorized to collect either CV or money from anyone seeking any form of audience with the Executive Chairman of the Commission or any of the Commissioners. New political association comes on stream as Islamic
to take the party to the doorsteps of every Nigerian. The launch and inauguration of state officials of the party was attended by members from across the country. In Uromi, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
The flag officer commanding Naval Training Command, Rear Admiral Joseph Okoje, says the authority of the command is doing its best to raise the bar at the Nigerian Navy Engineering College, Sapele. He was speaking while on a familiarization visit to the college. Rear Admiral Okoje expressed satisfaction with the facilities on ground and charged students, officers and ratings of the college to carry out their duties in line with the directives of the Chief of Naval Staff, adding that the Navy is known for quality service and orderliness. He was guided around the facilities by the Commandant of the college, Rear Admiral Durojaye Ajatoye, and other officers of the college.
The critical training requirements of the Nigerian Navy are being met here effectively, though we still have some capability gaps. So we have tried our best to ensure that we put in place international best practices.
The facilities inspected are the eye clinic, medical center, officers' quarters, simulation center, marine engineering school, nuclear biological warfare, and damage control, among others. And that's our contribution from Benin. It's back to you, Femi.
Thank you.
This administration, we all know that the government is out to fight corruption, to ensure transparency and good governance.
The European Union is made up of 28 member states with 21 European ambassadors and high commissioners to Nigeria. In Abuja, Gabriel Udu, NTA News.
And to sports now, the Minister of Youth Development and Sports, Solomon Dalong, says the federal ministry will continue to support all forms of sports in the country, especially those geared towards making positive impact in the society. Dalong gave this
the prize-giving and award presentation ceremony. Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Solomon Dalong, represented by Deputy Director Elite Sports in the ministry, Peter Nelson, commended the foundation for the brilliant initiative and encouraged well-meaning Nigerians to take a cue from them.
It's a way that we could assist these other young men and women that are not able to assist themselves.
This young man, Israel Ajiboye, is a beneficiary of the life-saving program of the foundation. While battling with a tumor of the jaw, which saw him lose all his lower teeth, they gave him hope.
I was abandoned by just about
all. Across the Federation, El Kanemi Warriors welcome Kano Pillars as Giwa FC tackle Aqua United. Lobby Stars visit FC Ifeanyi Uba, while bottom placed Ikorodu United play against Plateau United. Meanwhile, after 15